Urgent, Steelers fan, look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest your team news, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Pittsburgh Steelers and Seattle Seahawks reportedly interested in surprise first-round QB prospect. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Seattle Seahawks have both gotten new quarterbacks this offseason. Well, the Steelers still haven't officially gotten theirs, but after Russell Wilson and Justin Fields signed elsewhere, Mike Tomlin is guaranteed to have a new starting QB, possibly even Aaron Rodgers. Meanwhile, the Seahawks made arguably the most surprising quarterback move of the offseason by signing Sam Darnold to a 3-year contract worth $105 million. Yet despite both teams moving in a different direction, that apparently hasn't ruled them out from selecting a quarterback in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft. Related 2025 NFL mock draft latest round 1 projections after first wave of free agency. Pittsburgh Steelers and Seattle Seahawks eyeing Tyler Show as a first-round prospect. The Seattle Seahawks have the 18th overall pick in the first round. The Pittsburgh Steelers have the 21st overall pick. Each team likely has other needs they'd prefer to focus on to help them make a playoff appearance in 2025. However, Sportskeeda Tony Pauline suggests both teams could still be eyeing Louisville quarterback Tyler Show in the first round of the draft. Some believe he could end up in round 1, an opinion I do not share, with the Pittsburgh Steelers and Seattle Seahawks whispered around league circles as interested. Everyone I've spoken to says to keep an eye on the Browns, New York Giants, and Las Vegas Raiders at the top of round 2. While quarterbacks tend to be overdrafted by teams desperate for a future franchise solution, Show is generally regarded as a second-round prospect. The Seahawks wouldn't appear to be a team that's ready to reach after signing Darnold. Perhaps the Steelers will feel differently, depending on how their pursuit of a future Hall of Fame quarterback ends up. Pausing this news just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest The Black and Gold news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks! Now let's get back to the news. It's Aaron Rodgers or bust for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers feel like a match now. With Russell Wilson officially off to the New York Giants, the Steelers are down to Rodgers as their last option. For the Steelers, it feels like Rodgers or bust. For Rodgers, the Steelers feel like the only viable option if he wants to keep playing, though he could decide to retire. There is still no timetable for Rodgers' decision. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero is hearing this could be done much sooner than that. On Sirius XM Radio, Pelissero said that a lot of people he has talked to believe this could be done soon. Aaron just calls his own shots, Pelissero said. My impression from talking to a lot of people involved is that people believe this. Answer is coming in the near term, maybe even within the next few days here. Rodgers has contemplated retirement, though visiting the Steelers would seem to hint the team and Rodgers have mutual interest in one another, and that deal could get done. Adam Schefter of ESPN said this now hammers open the ability for the Steelers and Rodgers to get a deal done. Rodgers met with head coach Mike Tomlin, general manager Omar Khan, and offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. However, he left without a deal, but the team and Rodgers never talked about money on the visit. Now, it is up to him to decide what he wants to do with his 2025 season, whether that is playing football or not. Steelers' Cameron Hayward clarifies comments on Aaron Rodgers' Pittsburgh. Steelers defensive lineman Cameron Hayward said his words were misconstrued when he initially addressed the notion of quarterback Aaron Rodgers joining his team. Speaking on NFL Network's Good Morning Football, Hayward said he was answering a specific question on his podcast as to whether he'd chase the 4-time MVP into a darkness retreat in order to get him to play for the Steelers. Either you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or you don't. It's that simple. That's the pitch, Hayward said at the time. Hayward elected to clarify his stance on Wednesday, 5 days after Rodgers visited the Steelers. Yes, it was misconstrued. From my point of view, I was asked the question of, would you go to the lengths of going to a darkness retreat to recruit Aaron Rodgers? I said, I'm not doing that, Hayward said. The pitch is, if you want to be a Steeler, be a Steeler. It wasn't meant that I don't like Rodgers or am against it. I think when I look at our team right now, it would be really cool to have a guy like Aaron Rodgers, but I can't be the guy who gets it over the finish line. I think he's got to make those decisions for himself. The free agent quarterback landscape has changed, with the New York Giants signing both Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, and the Minnesota Vikings reportedly content on going forward with J. McCarthy narrowing the teams that could have a spot for Rodgers. The 10th overall pick of the 2024 NFL Draft, McCarthy missed the entire season following surgery to repair his torn right meniscus. "I have not had any communication with Rodgers," Hayward said. "I was actually with some strength coaches that day. He was in the building. I think they were trying to get everybody out of the building so they could just have a conversation with him. But what I would say to him, I would just say, if you come to the Pittsburgh Steelers, the goal is to win. We haven't had the success we want, but the goal is still in mind to raise a Lombardi and bring that 7th one to Pittsburgh. We don't really care about the glitz and glam of New York, but the focus is on good hard football, competing. Every day, challenging each other, trying to go from there." The New York Jets released Rodgers on March 12th, making him a free agent for the first time in his career. The only quarterbacks on the Steelers' current roster are Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson. Rodgers, 41, passed for 3,197 yards and 28 touchdowns in 2024, returning from a season-ending Achilles injury suffered in his first game with the Jets in September 2023. The 10-time Pro Bowl selection and 4-time NFL Most Valuable Player ranks 5th in league history in touchdown passes, 503, and 7th in passing yards, 62,952. Steelers may trade for Patriots. 4. $2 million QB as Aaron Rodgers' pursuit. Falters in the words of ESPN NFL Nation reporter Brooke Pryor, the Pittsburgh Steelers are between A. Rodgers and a hard place. After watching both of their 2024 starting quarterbacks walk in free agency, Justin Fields to the New York Jets, Russell Wilson to the New York Giants, the Steelers appear to have pushed all of their chips to the center of the table, in a bet that they can land free agent future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers. But despite predictions that Rodgers is a safe bet to sign with Pittsburgh, as Mike Florio of Pro Football Focus has said, the 41-year-old, 20-year veteran is also reportedly considering retirement or even heading north to the Minnesota Vikings. According to one report, Rodgers has informed the Vikings that they are his preferred team. Rodgers visited the Steelers facilities last week, where he met with coach Mike Tomlin and general manager Omar Khan, as well as with owner Art Rooney II, but left Pittsburgh with no deal in place. But as Pryor reported, the eccentric quarterback has never let outside factors influence his decision-making and is prone to move at his own pace and take actions based solely on his own, sometimes inscrutable reasons. Steelers need to move fast in acquiring a QB. The Steelers, though, don't have the luxury of time, Pryor wrote. The closer the Steelers get to the draft, which kicks off in less than a month, the more urgent figuring out a contingency plan becomes. If Rodgers continues to drag out the process, as seems likely, or ultimately decides that Pittsburgh is not the place for him, what do the Steelers do then? At the moment, their quarterback room consists of their own 2018 third-round pick, Mason Rudolph, and Skylar Thompson, a 2022 seventh-round selection of the Miami Dolphins. Neither is likely to instill much confidence in Steelers fans who have now seen their team go since 2016 without winning a single playoff game and have lost 5 in a row. The franchise is tied with the New England Patriots for the NFL record of 6 Super Bowl victories, but has not raised the Lombardi Trophy since 2008. Neither Mason nor Thompson would appear likely to alter that trajectory this season, or any time in the future. According to Tyler Sullivan of CBS Sports, one logical and low-risk option at quarterback for Pittsburgh would be the New England Patriots' 2024 sixth-round draft pick, 193rd overall Joe Milton III. The 25-year-old Milton has been mentioned in Steelers trade speculation on several occasions previously. Patriots QB among most athletically gifted in NFL. While Milton is considered raw and his collegiate numbers were unimpressive, the 25-year-old is considered one of the most atheistically gifted quarterbacks to enter the NFL, perhaps since Cam Newton. Was drafted number 1 overall by the Carolina Panthers out of Auburn in 2011, Milton was the 2023 Orange Bowl MVP, tossing for 3 touchdowns and 251 yards in Tennessee's 31-14 downing of Clemson. Milton has been repeatedly seen on video throwing a football 80 yards in training sessions, and his eye-opening single game in 2024 against the Buffalo Bills in Week 18, he was recorded unleashing the second fastest pass 61, 7 mph in the history. Of recorded NFL passes, Milton is currently on his rookie contract for just 4. $2 million over 4 years, with 3 remaining, making his financial risk to the Steelers almost non-existent. Even if they added another veteran to the room, Milton could be a low-risk acquisition to come in and compete for the starting job over the summer, Sullivan wrote. Given his ability to throw the football a country mile, he'd be fascinating to see with DK Metcalf and George Pickens at his disposal. And now, Steelers fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for the black and gold. I'll be back any moment with more Steeler Nation news. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.